battle for the heavyweight championship of the world in front of 90,000 fans at Wembley Stadium, London, England. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat is something that every fan of every sport experiences, and it's something that every athlete and competitor will experience in their lifetime too.
Business now, you know, my coach has made it clear that he wants me to stay away from home, wants me to stay away from any distractions. Normally, when I come back from training camp on the weekends, I can quickly go to the barbers. The barbers is normally like a link up for the boys. I can spend hours in there, but this time it was physio, recovery, this, that, and it was all about training. And that's what that represented, is that the focus, the discipline that I've taken upon myself within this training camp. And it's interesting because with one side of the things, you've got Wladamir, who claims to be obsessed, and then I think on the other hand, I feel confident because of the work and the discipline that I put into preparing for this fight.
You've faced champions before, young and early in your career, but this man has held that title for 10 years plus. When you look across the ring mentally, is this the greatest challenge that you will have faced? And did you have to go someplace different to prepare for it than you've had in the past?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a definite bigger challenge than I faced, but there's no stress because, like, that's what my career's been about, you know. I've always been a relative novice to any competition that I've entered, and I've always overcome. You know, as I said, we go back to the amateurs. In 2011, I was competing in the ABA Championships, which is to become the best in England, and then next minute I'm competing at the World Championships to become the best in the world at the Olympics, and I overcome everything. You know, after beating Dylan, I could have just gone on the British route and said, you know what, I'm enjoying this British title exposure, let me continue that route. But Charles Martin come forward, we took the challenge, and now we're here, we take the challenge. So I just know that no matter what's in front of me, I'll always find a way to overcome, and I feel confident about my ability, and that's what you have to do. You have to believe in yourself before anyone else does, and I definitely believe in myself.
I recorded a video last week, and the outcome of the fight, my prediction, so to say. This stick is going to be integrated in my robe, which I'm going to wear this Saturday night, sealed. Do not ask me after the fight what is on this stick. The only person who's going to be able to open it up and watch it is the person that's going to buy this rope with the stick, and all the money are going to go to the Klitschko Foundation.
And yes, of course, I support my brother right now. He has a lot of experience, very disciplined and professional, but anyway, to be together with him is very important. If I see how my brother always, I have a feeling I can do it a little bit better. But it's joke, and sometimes I told him, you know what, you have to do it that and that. Why you do it this mistake? But right now it's Wladamir 100% ready. 13 years older than Joshua, but everywhere in life, main point is experience, and in sport also. Let's see what happens Saturday night.
Is there anything that would bring you back into the ring if your brother maybe is not successful Saturday night, or if Fury comes back?
No. Sport will be forever in my life together with me, but not as active sportsman. I do sport every morning, two hours training every morning, but not again in the ring. The new generation had to need the space.
There was the time when you were the new generation, when you were the young guy coming up and trying to take it from the old lions.
Oh, maybe Lennox say, yes, I have idea to come back. I think about that, to come back.
You'd fight
just for one fight.
What do you think is left in the locker of Wladamir Klitschko?
Well, you know, he's got experience. He's been bringing in a lot of experience. You know, he's got leg trouble in the sense that the legs are getting old. He's got old legs against young legs. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Boxers get old in the ring, and usually they don't realize it until they're in the ring. So in this case with Wladamir, you know, he may get old this fight, or he may want to prove us all wrong and say, I'm not old, I'm going to prove you all wrong, I'm not old. But, you know, until we see the fight, that's when we'll know.
I think Klitschko definitely, he's talked about obsession in the whole build-up, and you know, since his defeat to Tyson Fury, he seems to be the guy with that bit between his teeth, that anger and that annoyance and frustration from that loss. So if anybody's going to come and really have a go, I'd expect it to be Klitschko. But Joshua ain't going to roll over and do nothing. Joshua's defending his world title, and he's taking it, like you said, like a stepping stone. And that sounds like it's dangerous talk, but it's just confident and a little bit nonchalant. But why not? He's big and he's bad, and he's a champ and he's unbeaten, and he's knocked out 18 of his 18 victims.
Which wins out at the end of the day, all things being equal? Experience or youth and ability?
It's down to the opinion. I think experience is massive. You know, my experience when I boxed Groves at Wembley was too much for Groves' youth and enthusiasm and abilities. You know, I was just too experienced for him, and I was fit and strong because I'd done the training, but that experience was the reason I won.
It's just me and a man coming to blows, and the best man will win. You know, I'm still up very early in the morning and sleeping very late at night, working diligently with my coach, strength and conditioning coach, mentors, to prepare myself not only physically but mentally to prepare for any battle. And that's why I enjoy the sport. I take it seriously. And April 29th is just another stepping stone towards greatness.
How confident are you that this is the right fight at the right time?
Any fight is the right fight. For you guys to broadcast, to entertain, I think you want certain fights because it creates such an interest. But for me, I've never shied away from any fight, any opponent. As my trainer Robert McCracken said, I started boxing in 2008. In 2009, 10, 11, it was at the World Championships. I was representing Great Britain, competing to be the best in the world, and then the Olympics. And I could have said, you know what, Rob, I don't think I'm ready for these type of competitions. No problem, let's rock and roll. It doesn't matter about who I'm fighting. I just enjoy what I do. I embrace every opportunity. And I think failure is without trying. That's why I'd always step up to any occasion, without a shadow of a doubt. And there's no fear whatsoever that trembles through my body. I just don't underestimate any man, and that kind of puts me on a pedestal when I focus on my training and how I conduct myself inside and outside the ring.
Them guys are too big for me, so that rules me out for the winner. And Anthony's a friend of mine, but what I will say is I see Anthony Joshua winning by knockout inside the first 4 rounds. And it has to be inside the first 4 rounds, because if this goes past 4 rounds, I don't see it going his way.
You know, I was at Klitschko versus David Haye in Germany, and I was in a stadium. But I feel like there's the pressure of all of England and the pressure of the heavyweight division, of the future of the heavyweight division on Joshua's shoulders. You know, when it was Haye and Klitschko, it was more of a Klitschko was more in his prime, Haye was more in his prime, and it was more like, oh, can he knock him off? You know, this time it's more about changing up the guard, and Joshua had almost, I feel like, this pressure, like where he's got to take out the old champion and do it in style, and also the question mark remains: is he the future of the heavyweight division? You know, a lot of question marks around this fight, and I think that's why he's getting so much notoriety.
Is Klitschko an old champion just trying to reclaim one more night of glory, or does he have a career ahead of him, even if he wins this fight?
I'm not sure. You know, I think it's hard to get into the head of Wladamir Klitschko. You've been off 18 months. You're 41 years old. We all age differently. It'll be interesting to see how Wladamir has aged, because you really can't tell until he's in the ring.
How do you avoid being stopped late, as the people have predicted?
You know, boxing, even though it's aggressive, and the first thing they teach you in boxing is to punch someone, you have to learn about defense and, you know, avoiding getting hit. I just think, you know, I honestly think Wladamir won't be able to cope with me later on in the rounds himself. I think he's got more of a chance as an older opponent. to compete with a young lion like myself early on, because as the fight goes on, I don't think you'll be able to cope with a young fighter like myself who's ambitious, who's trained the way I have, and strong. I'm just like, it sounds like I'm bigging myself up, but I'm just saying it how it is. The young good man will always beat the old good man.
You say it's a 50-50 fight. I know that's a good thing to say. Does Joshua believe as much, or does he believe that the young man himself may dusting off the old lion?
I believe Joshua's going to win the fight. He believes he's going to win, but he also knows that, let's look at the levels that he's boxed at before. And Wladamir Klitschko is well beyond those levels, so you can't ignore that. This is Anthony Joshua's 19th professional fight. This is Wladamir Klitschko's 29th consecutive world title fight. So everybody seems to be saying if it goes early, it's Joshua. If it goes late, it's Klitschko. And I think certainly the longer the fight goes on, the more it'll work to the more experienced man's favour. I don't care how it comes.
As long as
it comes.
The winner of this fight is going to be recognized as the heavyweight champion. You know, we have fractured titles in almost all the divisions, and the only undisputed champion is Cecilia Brækhus, so, you know, a woman. So in the heavyweight division, the fans like to have someone they recognize as the main man, the champion. Lennox Lewis at one point didn't have all the belts, but he was recognized as the champion. Mike Tyson, regardless of which belts he had, when he was the champ, he was the champ. And I think the winner of this fight will be thought of because of the scope and the size and the two networks in the U.S. and, you know, Sky here and RTL in Germany. It just has the feeling of this is for the heavyweight championship of the world. The atmosphere is outstanding.
I know Klitschko has held the title for so long, but this matchup here has like the potential of bringing back the heavyweight division in an event like this. Talk to me about how long it's been since Klitschko's been out of the ring, and then finally when he steps back, be in the spotlight like this with so much on the line.
I mean, what can you say with the amount of attention this fight is getting at Wembley Stadium? 90,000 people, breaking the record for UK boxing history. You know, it's a classic matchup of the old champion and the new lion, and you know, it's one of those things. The question is, why it's so intriguing? Does Wladamir have enough to take his titles back, or is Anthony Joshua biting off too much at one time? But it has that feel. You know, you can just feel it now, and the energy in the air, even for the open workouts here at the Wembley Arena, that people are just so excited about Saturday night.
Your shirt says Team Klitschko, or your vest, obsessed.
Yeah.
Are you sensing that kind of inspiration from Klitschko? Is it different than you've seen him before?
Well, Wladamir is the team leader, and everything kind of trickles down from him, and he's really obsessed on getting his titles back. I mean, he's so motivated. He had an off night against Fury, and you know, you can't take anything away from Fury because he did something that nobody has done for so many years when Wladamir had that long reign. But he wanted to get the rematch. That never happened. Now he has a chance of fighting Anthony Joshua to get his titles back. So it's an exciting night.
This is brilliant. Joshua Klitschko.
Joshua. Well, training. It's a cliche. No one's going to say training has been bad. Training has been good. Everything is going according to plan. And Saturday night, I just can use a quote from the former referee, now Judge Mills Lane. Let's get it on. You're ready. Well, yeah, Vladimir's ready, and that's all that matters. And this unique situation, you don't have to second guess anything. Both guys always bring 100% to the ring. So there's no guessing. One guy's in better shape, the other guy, both guys are going to be in top physical shape. And this is truly going to be an epic fight. Joshua's bringing his 100%, as he always does. Wladamir will come in 100%, and I do believe that this will, it's sort of like, you know, how fights are getting hyped up, and they don't live up to the hype. I believe this fight will live up to the hype of the 90,000 fans that will be in Wembley.
Listen, this is a fight. I tell you what I liked yesterday. I liked the fact that Anthony Joshua looked a little bothered that he just didn't want to be there, you know. And that's at this stage of a fight, when it's a few days before the fight, You don't want to be a Mr. Nice Guy. He just didn't want to accommodate the smiles and the laughter. He got in the ring, did as minimum workout as possible, and got out of there. I think he's just had enough now. He just wants to fight. Even up there today on stage, he's thinking, you know what, I've got to do this, but I just want to fight. I'm happy I've now seen that, because before, when we had these guys together, it was like tutor and student. AJ was very accommodating. He was very, very polite towards Wladimir. Wladimir was kind of in a way trying to talk down to him. But now I just think I can see how this fight will change as the first bell goes. When it gets to 1 minute past 10 and the bell goes, you can see two completely different characters. Vladimir's trying to be his mate, laughing and joking and being all smart with him and clever with him, and so we're the best of friends. And Anthony's saying, yeah, that's smart, but both guys behind the eyes are thinking, I'm going to mess you up. And that's what you want. And you could see that, so it was a nice feeling.
I saw the exact same thing, and it's interesting that you put it in that frame, because I wondered to myself, when a fighter starts to make that transition, it's the first time I've ever seen Joshua not like on his game with the smiles, shaking hands with the fans, everything. Is that a good transition further down in their career, or is it something you got to come back from?
This is perfect, because this is serious. The only thing you can't play, only sport you can't play is boxing. You can't play this game. So this is serious, and AJ knows he has to be a roughhouse doghouse when the bell goes. When the bell goes, he needs to bully Wladimir. He needs to make Wladimir thinking, man, I hope this doesn't last too long. Every minute of every round, he needs to keep under pressure. And I'm not saying just run there recklessly throwing punches. I mean, make this guy think, make him work, make him use his footwork, make him use his energy, make that energy level drop down and hit him. And when AJ lands with one shot, that will tell us, that will give us a pattern of this fight, because then we'll know if AJ's power is enough to make Wladimir think, I better back off here. I need to think about what I'm doing here. And so that's why it's a story of two fights. The first half of the fight, I would say AJ hands down. AJ hands down. The second half of the fight, I would say Wladimir hands down, because the second half you're depending on skill. The first half you're depending on speed, accuracy, power, youth, pace. That's all those things that Anthony's got. The only thing he hasn't got is experience and wisdom, what Vladimir's got. And that's ringcraft. You know, the ringcraft that Vladimir's got, if you measure it on that, Wladimir wins hands down. So that's why I'm saying it's a story of two halves. So you'll ask many people what they think to give a definitive answer. They can't, because this fight is too hard to call.
We've seen the young lion in many stories try to grow into his own, become the man. Every kid in every sport dreams of that moment. But when we got the old lion in Wladimir Klitschko, who this fight, I mean, is live or die in the sports sense. Yep. This fight is the end of his career if he gets bested, especially if he gets stopped.
I think it's the end of his career anyway. I think win or lose, he walks away.
So with that said, how much does that kind of stakes, and for a champion who's reigned for over 10 years, his brother ringside, his pride on the line, how much does that count towards his ability to maybe do more than his body physically should?
Listen, I'm telling you now, if he wasn't willing to put everything on the line Saturday night, this fight wouldn't be happening. If he couldn't motivate himself to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning to go for a run and train for so many months on end, this fight wouldn't be happening. There's too much at stake. He can't afford two back-to-back losses, you know, because when you get wiser, when you get smarter, what happens is when you've got young guys that have got a great pace, you know more than them, but your body won't give you that pace, they won't give you that energy, won't give you that time, so you get a little frustrated. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you get embarrassed. So therefore, what he has to do, you know, Vladimir's got to go in there hungry. For the first time in over 11 years, he's going in there as a challenger. It's not until the fight gets hard then he realises how much he really wants it, because he's a millionaire. He don't need to do this, but pride's at stake, and that's what's most important.